2, 1. That was a jagged edge. So not only is Ron DeSantis the governor of the ass-backwards state of Florida, but he probably is the #1 candidate for a Republican nomination. Probably is Trump 1A and him 1B. And in the last few weeks, he has publicly said things that are provably false. And he's a Harvard-educated man, so you know that he knows what he's saying. He said these things to be manipulative and deceitful. He talked in one breath. He was talking about how United States of America was the first to abolish slavery. It was not. It was one of the last. Haiti, Mexico, Denmark, England all abolished slavery at least 20 years before we did. It was provably false. He made this statement, bold-faced. He said it out loud with nobody. The reason Ron DeSantis and his ilk hate wokeness is because the opposite of being woke is sleep. And they want to pretend like the things that have happened in this nation have not happened. It is not about making people feel bad. It's like telling a story that we hope to learn from. That's what history at best can do. At best, history gives us a roadmap to the possibility of the things that can happen and doing the things that we can as human beings to learn from them and avert them. He said last night in the middle of a debate that America is not on stolen land. He knows that to be provably false, and he says that in the state of Florida. The state of Florida, who at one point chased the Seminoles to extinction. They lived in the Everglades, in the swamps, for decades. They murdered them. It was not a war, it was a genocide. Andrew Jackson, he is called Sharp Knife by many American Indians because he killed thousands of them. The Trail of Tears. It wasn't a war. A war isn't scalping children. It isn't a country playing for scalps of children. It isn't poisoning their food. It isn't giving them smallpox in their blankets. America has done these things. Did it to take power. The freedom and the freedom and the choices that we now espouse and rave about happen at the point of a knife and a gun. They use the federal government, and they use the courts to steal and murder them and take their land. And he knows that is true. He knows it is not. America knows that it's stolen land. It knows everywhere. At one point, Indians were 100% of America's population, of this continent's population. Now they're less than 3%. What happened to them? There were millions of them murdered at the behest of this government, and to pretend as if it does not sit on stolen land is an abomination. And he said it at a national debate, and he knew everybody would hear him say it. Even in California, the first governor of California, when they discovered gold, his stated position, his second speech was about eradicating Indians. He wanted to eradicate them. So that he advocated genocide. It is in the history books. We know what happened. This is not an assault on making people feel bad. This is an attempt to scrub history clean and thereby the things that they still continue to do. You attack woke. You have done it. America's history is rife with horrible men who did horrible things to people to women, to black and brown people, to Indians, and to pretend like it didn't happen, and to have one of the #1 candidates of a political party tell you blatant lies is where we've come to. I'm not saying that America still does these things, but stop pretending that it didn't. They took one of the mightiest civilizations known to man and relegated them to horrible football teams and baseball teams and casinos. Right now in Florida, the very state that he is the governor of, Seminoles can now go to school free in Florida. Why is that? Why do they have reservations? Why do they have fisheries and salmon depositories? Why do they have casinos that they can't be taxed? Because America knows the horrible things it has done. And now one of the men who wants to lead America wants to blatantly lie to it and expect that we accept it. He says these things out loud, knowing that they won't be challenged and knowing they're provably false. And he knows that it falls on the right ears. America has no interest in a reckoning. It has no interest in knowing where it came from. It has no interest in learning from its past, because its past is guiding the future. It wants to do, to a greater or lesser degree, what it has done, the types of things it had done. And for that, they need you to be asleep. They need you to stay in a coma. They need you to be unaware. Of course, someone who plans on lying and repeating things would hate woke. Nothing comes to sleepers but a dream and the same old country they once had. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.